In the vast expanse of the cosmos, where stars twinkle like distant beacons of hope and galaxies swirl in an intricate dance of light, lies the great unknown. It is a realm of wonder and mystery, where the laws of physics weave a tapestry of awe-inspiring phenomena and the boundaries of human understanding are continually challenged. Welcome to a journey beyond the confines of our terrestrial realm, where we embark on an exploration of the cosmos and the profound questions it holds. Join us as we delve into the depths of space, guided by curiosity and fueled by the quest for knowledge. In this video, we will venture into the silent void of the universe, where the stars whisper ancient secrets and the darkness conceals untold wonders. Together, let us unravel the mysteries of the cosmos and contemplate our place within its infinite expanse. If the world were ending and you could only save 116 images as the final record of planet Earth, what kinds of moments would you preserve? This was a real question NASA faced in 1977 when they decided to attach golden records encoded with a selection of photos to the Voyager probes, intended to immortalize life on our fragile planet. And when I look at these images, which have now left our solar system and are heading into cosmic space, I can't shake the thought of how they will probably, one day, be all that's left of us. In the vacuum of space, these images could last for billions of years, outliving the Earth, outliving the Sun. And though that should perhaps be comforting, I find it unsettling. Space has always been a breeding ground for existential dread. Early astronaut programs were plagued by concerns of a space madness, the theory that humans would be mentally and spiritually shattered by entering the celestial abyss. It makes sense. Space is a death trap. Without a spacesuit, the very blood in your veins would form bubbles that block circulation, the neurons in your brain exploding with pain until lack of oxygen causes you to pass out, with death arriving just 90 seconds later. Even a successful voyage involves a prolonged period in cramped seclusion surrounded by hostile darkness. Though a space madness is no longer an official term, anxiety, mood swings, and severe emotional distress have all been documented in those who have touched the void. The idea that a human mind plunged into the infinite sea of space might, drown, has seeped into the foundations of how we depict the cosmos. In 2001, A Space Odyssey, the narrative begins in the shallows, depicting a clean, orderly future of space travel, one that would have been comforting to its late 60s audience. Yet in both the film and the novel, these early space scenes are a facade, a veneer of comprehensibility concealing the vast unknown. The deeper you delve into the story, the clearer it becomes that all the artificial gravity and neatly divided meals amount to a futile attempt to give order to a chaotic universe. Like space itself, 2001 ultimately proves immense and impenetrable, feeling like something the mind wasn't meant to fully grasp. A counterpoint to this vastness exists in Andrei Tarkovsky's film Solaris. The story of a psychologist sent to a research station where all crew members have become trapped within their own memories, Solaris is technically another tale of spaceborne madness. Yet while 2001 spans from the dawn of humanity to a nebulous future stage of evolution, the scale of Solaris is intensely personal. Despite primarily taking place in space, the film, like the characters, constantly flashes back to small, intimate moments on Earth. Far from a story of humanity's ascension, Solaris makes the case that the maddening power of space has less to do with the stars, and more to do with the trauma we carry with us into the dark. Like preserved photographs, the past lingers, both a steadying anchor and crushing weight. In A Dog Named Laika, defaced with the visage of a vast and indifferent universe, how do we decide which moments to hold on to? The game Outer Wilds forces you to confront this question, time and time again. You play as an alien exploring the cosmos in a worryingly low-tech spaceship, and the main thing you do in Outer Wilds is, well, die. The game is a crash course in why space is so terrifying. But every failure is an opportunity to learn from your mistakes, because spoiler alert for the first 22 minutes of the game, every time you perish, you're sent back to the start of the time loop. It's a mechanic that changes the value of each moment. Although I remained cautious in my early loops, I soon began to throw myself into the void without care, all my fears of space dissipating. Simultaneously, I began to skip over smaller moments. Why waste time roasting a marshmallow or speaking with a friend if all this is going to be reset anyway? Yet at the end of each life, Outer Wilds displays images depicting all you accomplished, your very own golden record. It's a feature that subtly reframes what experiences are significant. Watching the sunrise might not get you closer to beating the game, but when your life literally flashes before your eyes, it's the moment that stands out. Yet there's this other moment that stands out. Late into the game, I became separated from my ship. I wasn't too nervous at first. I knew I could definitely catch up with, oh wow, that's really moving. Caught in the gravity of a planet, my ship faded further and further out of view. Soon, it was hopeless, and as I looked out across oblivion, I realized this loop wasn't going to end until I ran out of oxygen. And though I knew I'd wake up back where I'd started, the thought of drifting until then, waiting for my inevitable demise, made me feel. Well, it reminded me of a historical fragment I'd learned long ago. The first living thing to orbit the Earth was a dog named Laika. Part of a Soviet experiment to discover the harmful effects of space on a body, Laika's journey through the stars was designed to be strictly one way, sending her to space on board a tiny metal coffin. It was assumed she'd die in space from running out of oxygen. Instead, the craft overheated. The last words she likely ever heard were from a biologist saying, "Please forgive us." My ill-fated drift through the cosmos didn't end when I ran out of oxygen either. Instead, my body slowly fell towards the sun, the voyage concluding in premature flames. Of course, unlike Laika, my journey then continued, although the unsettling experience stayed with me. On board her doomed craft, Laika's heart rate accelerated to 3 times its usual rate. She was terrified. Did she also feel betrayed, I wonder? Did she understand enough of what was happening to feel betrayed? There's a photo of a dog on the golden record, meant to commemorate the loyalty of our canine friends. Please forgive us, Laika. Should she forgive us? The trajectory of this ship is unchanging. In A Silent Running, by Douglas Trumbull, a vessel is on an unalterable path towards annihilation. In A High Life, by Claire Denis, a vessel is on an unalterable path towards annihilation. In Under a Star Called Sun, by Cecile Richards, a vessel is on a... You get it? As a piece of interactive fiction, Under a Star Called Sun stands out from the two films, telling through pixel art and short snippets of text the story of a lone cosmonaut whose ship is drifting into the sun. Yet despite their hopeless status, the explorer continues to care for the plants aboard their condemned vessel. It's a ritual the protagonists of all three pieces of media take part in for different reasons. In A Silent Running, the plants are the last specimens of vegetation from a barren earth, a final record of green. In A High Life, the plants are the sole source of food for the main character and his newborn child, a matter of survival. Yet none of these characters is going to survive for very long, though they continue to obsess over their plants' health, maintaining their routines even knowing that the end is near. I check the plants in the greenhouse. I check for bugs. I check the moisture of the soil. I check the dust on the leaves. And when no one is around, I hum to them. Like the crew in Solaris, the astronaut in A Star Called Sun is trapped in their memories, the ship's interior sometimes distorting into a street corner from their past. Memories invade the film High Life with similar abruptness, vignettes from the main character's childhood coming and going without context. It seems reflective of how the protagonist's child only knows Earth from fragmented images on the ship's corrupted hard drive. Instead of a sun, the ship in High Life headed towards a black hole. And yet the main character continues. I check for bugs. I check the soil moisture. I check the dust on the leaves. And when no one is around, I sing to them. Like the crew in A Solaris, the astronaut in A Star Called Sun is trapped in their memories, the interior of the ship sometimes morphing into a street corner from their past. Memories invade the film High Life with an abrupt likeness, snippets of the main character's childhood appearing and disappearing without context. It seems to reflect how the protagonist's child only knows Earth from fragmented images on the corrupted hard drive of the ship. Instead of a sun, the vessel in A High Life heads towards a black hole. And yet, the main character continues to raise his daughter, to give her any life she can have, no matter how short. Despite the impending cosmic destruction, the film argues that these moments matter, these memories carry weight. I wish I had made more effort to remember, says the protagonist at the end of A Star Called Sunday. I wish I had taken more pictures. Alongside images encoded on the true void. Golden Record is the romantic Javanese melody Ipuspawarna, translating to types of flowers. There's something inspiring about this music traveling, defying the cosmos, billions of kilometers away from the nearest flower. There's also something profoundly unsettling about it. Because on an interstellar scale, Voyager 1 hasn't really gone anywhere. Not even the nearest star is trillions of miles closer. Space is much emptier than we perceive. When we think of planets, our minds go to the classroom model that has them all neatly lined up. But space doesn't look like that. It doesn't even look like this, that's still too close to each other. It looks like this. That tiny, pale blue dot beneath Saturn's rings? That's Earth. And everything in space is constantly moving, hurtling through darkness at dizzying speeds. We like to think of this darkness as noisy, something ships can audibly cut through. But with no air molecules to vibrate, the vacuum of space is silent. There are no explosions either, at least not the flaming kind from sci-fi movies. A real space battle would be completely quiet, punctuated only by the occasional burst of heat that would quickly implode. How is one supposed to navigate this vast, silent, alien sea? In our ongoing search for extraterrestrial life. Signaling aliens. We turn to radio waves to make noise in the cosmos. Some of these signals have traveled as far as 300 trillion kilometers. Want to see it on a map? Here it is. Sorry, let me zoom in. Maybe once more. There it is, that's the area our messages have reached. It's another pale blue dot. And it's probably an exaggeration, because most of our signals, which are mainly a mishmash of old TV shows and radio, likely disintegrate after so many light years, memories blending into meaningless static. In the game The Anglerfish Project, it's your job to navigate through that static. You play as an elderly worker for a mysterious company in the farthest reaches of space, using a probe attached to a fishing rod to capture and document lost signals from Earth. Most are a jumble of absurdities, old ads and public service announcements. But sometimes you pick up a love letter or a fragment of history. It's a solitary and isolating experience that makes you reflect on the kinds of messages we cast into the void. It made me wonder what an alien intelligence would do with our debris. Besides being time capsules, the Golden Records are also designed to be messages informing aliens about our planet. After all, the Voyager probes won't dissipate like radio waves, though they're much slower. If by some miracle an alien found and decoded the disk, they would discover along with images and music, sounds from Earth, including chimpanzee noises, grunts. I'm not entirely sure an alien would understand the intent behind that. I'm not entirely sure I do. But what if, right? What if these records made contact, and if extraterrestrials understood their content and traced the ship back to Earth? The scariest moment in Outer Wilds probably wasn't when I fell into the sun, but when I descended into a mist at the center of a planet and saw, are those stars? They were, in fact, the lights of large alien anglerfish. And unfortunately, they noticed me. Maybe we. Dark Forest Hypothesis. Don't want aliens to hear us. The Dark Forest Hypothesis is the theory that the reason space seems so devoid of life is because any species that makes too much noise is exterminated by hostile extraterrestrial life. Science fiction has long told stories of humans alerting something to our presence that we should have left alone. In some horror tales, these aliens come to our home planet, bringing destruction directly to us. But I think the scariest incarnation of alien horror is found in the farthest reaches of space. The aliens in these stories often seem like personifications of the unknown itself, a punishment for our blind and arrogant push beyond. It's not just the aliens that make the horror genre on the edges of space scary. It's the isolation. Okay, having said that, now we obviously have to talk about the game Alien: Isolation. Based on the iconic film franchise, this game has you explore an empty ship, empty, except, of course, for the alien. There's a litany of techniques the game uses to make this creature frightening. There's the fact that your weapons barely work, the fact that it can move through ventilation ducts, the fact that your only way to track it is with this small analog screen that forces you to look away from what's in front of you. But the most effective technique of all has nothing to do with the creature and everything to do with the setting. An effective horror genre space station is basically a haunted house. Though lacking cobwebs and creaky floors, it's a place of dark corridors hiding monsters, one that isolates its characters from any hope of rescue. The cosmos beyond the station can be seen as part of the structure, with space itself being a single piece of horror set design, a setting so terrifying that you almost don't need the alien. A space filled with hostile life is scarier than an empty space? Arthur C. Clarke, author of 2001, A Space Odyssey, famously stated, "The two possibilities exist, either we are alone in the universe or we are not. Both are equally terrifying. Here on Earth, we are perhaps the most sheltered children. Pale blue dot of the universe. Our sun's solar wind shields us from interstellar radiation, creating a safe haven in the turbulent cosmic ocean. Jupiter defends Earth from asteroids like a protective older sibling with its gravitational pull. Earth's magnetic field extends tens of thousands of kilometers into space, shielding the surface from deadly charged particles. Mars and Venus did not receive magnetospheres. It's challenging to convey just how inhospitable the other planets in our solar system are. Jupiter's great red spot, that tiny dot on the planet's surface, it's a storm larger than Earth. If you were to descend into this vortex, temperatures would soar to over 1,300 degrees Celsius, about 2,400 degrees Fahrenheit. Not even Venus' cracked, yellowish surface, otherwise the hottest planet in our solar system, gets quite as scorching. At the opposite end of the spectrum, the outer ice giants, Uranus and Neptune, spin so far from the sun's heat that their atmospheres regularly plunge hundreds of degrees below zero. Beyond our solar system, there are likely billions of exoplanets just in our galaxy alone, though we've only managed to locate about 5,000. Given the absurd number of potentially Earth-like worlds, it seems there must be some other form of life out there. But perhaps that's an Earth-centric perspective. It seems other creatures must exist because, well, we exist. But until we know more about the origins of life, it's challenging to calculate how lucky we are to be here. Because we've had a relatively easy life, space hasn't always been a source of fear. In the past, some cultures assumed it was a flat backdrop, a shallow dome of tiny lights surrounding a globe that sits at the center of the universe. Even as our understanding grew, and the scale of the solar system became more apparent, many assumed we would find other habitable worlds right next door. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the idea that Mars or the Moon could be teeming with undiscovered life didn't seem so far-fetched. When your only reference is Earth's exuberance, space seems like it would be teeming with extraterrestrials. Though a distant dream, space travel, too, was portrayed more frivolously. In Jules Verne's novel, From the Earth to the Moon, the main characters reach the moon by being shot from a gigantic cannon, because, why not? It's hard to imagine the true nature of space. A place where, without gravity, your bones quickly lose density. A place where the lack of day and night creates insomnia. A place of silent and inhospitable lack of life. Perhaps the closest thing to true is space madness manifested during the Soviet Soyuz 21 mission in 1976. The operation was supposed to be routine, involving a 60-day stay aboard the Salyut 5 space station. But just a few weeks in, the crew claimed a maddening smell had filled the cabin, a smell so toxic and persistent that the operation had to be aborted. However, supposedly, upon the arrival of the backup crew, no unusual smell or smoke leak was detected. The smell was likely an intense illusion, a nightmare born of claustrophobic conditions mixed with the psychological terror of cosmic vastness. Maybe it's better to stay on the ground. But even in the protective embrace of Earth, we're not entirely safe. In a world where natural disasters, pandemics, and political conflicts are always lurking, even the relative comfort of Earth can seem fragile. Earthquakes shake our ground, hurricanes sweep our coasts, and wildfires consume vast swathes of land. Meanwhile, sudden epidemics remind us of the vulnerability of our bodies to illness, and geopolitical tensions cast shadows over the peace and stability we value so much. Our existence on Earth is a delicate balance between apparent safety and the constant threat of the unknown. Even here, in the relative safety of our homes, we are confronted with the reality of our mortality and the ephemerality of our achievements. Therefore, perhaps the fear of space is not only the fear of the unknown beyond the Earth's atmosphere, but also a reflection of the deeper fear that resides within us, the fear of insignificance in the face of the vastness of the universe and the fragility of our existence. Yet, it is this very fear that drives us to explore, to seek answers to the mysteries of the cosmos, and to strive to reach the stars. It is the courage to confront the unknown, even when we feel small and vulnerable, that defines us as human beings. So, as we contemplate the silent void of space, perhaps we should remember that, despite our fears and uncertainties, we are capable of overcoming seemingly insurmountable challenges. Thus, as we venture into the unknown, let us embrace not only the grandeur of the universe, but also the humility that comes with it. For it is this humility that reminds us that we are part of something greater than ourselves, part of a cosmic story that extends beyond our understanding. As we face the emptiness of outer space, let us do so with reverence and awe, acknowledging our own smallness in the vastness of the cosmos. And yet, even in the face of this immensity, we find the courage to continue moving forward, driven by curiosity and the relentless pursuit of knowledge. So, as we gaze at the stars and marvel at their beauty, let us also remember that we are made of the same stuff as the stars, connected to them in a fundamental way. And it is this connection that gives us hope and inspires us to keep exploring even when the path ahead seems dark and uncertain. Continue, therefore, may we embrace the unknown with courage and determination, knowing that, even though we may be just a small spark in the vastness of the universe, our journey is part of something infinitely greater than ourselves. And as we venture forth into the cosmos, let us not only seek answers to our questions but also cultivate a profound appreciation for the beauty and fragility of our existence. In the face of the unknown, let us remember the resilience of the human spirit, the capacity to adapt, and the boundless potential for discovery that lies within each of us. For it is through our exploration of the unknown that we push the boundaries of what is possible and expand our understanding of the universe and our place within it. So, let us greet the challenges that lie ahead with open hearts and open minds, embracing the journey with all its uncertainties and complexities. For in doing so, we honor not only our past but also the infinite possibilities of our future.